open. Alright. Jesus. Falling asleep from damn work. I have to concentrate. I must concentrate. The objective says I have to find a way into the house. Find the grave. So I have to find the grave in order to get into the house. The graves are usually on the outside, so I would have to go outside. But there's no way to get to the grave on the inside. So I believe I passed a grave site before, so I might have to go to that grave site again. Front. Forking Road. House. Sucker. Something tells me it's not that far back. The gates. Bridge. Some gravesite might be around here somewhere. Definitely sleeping. I mean, it's a house fire. Shit, I might be going backwards. Okay, hold on, let me concentrate. I have to find a grave, which means I have to find a cemetery. So I was going the right way the whole time?
open.
I feel like there's something that's very simple in front of me, but I can't see it because I'm so tired. This door is stuck. The door upstairs is stuck. 3 doors are stuck. The one downstairs, this door, and the 3rd door. And there's no item in here. So the objective is to find a way into the house. But you have to find the grave to probably get you into the house. But there's no indication where the grave is. The grave can be anywhere. Typically a grave is typically in a cemetery or outside the back of the house or around the house. It's not somewhere far because it's a grave. I'm gonna check back here. But it said something about underground connected the Taiyu house to the Mikawa house. It did say something about Kawa's house is connected to the Caillou's house, and you should be able to get into the area through another passage, so this might be that passage. Wait, so there was no point to this tunnel? It doesn't go anywhere? Okay, so this is what is kind of pissing me off. Find a way into the house. Find a grave. You have to find a way into the Caillou house. So you have to find a Caillou grave. So where I am is here. And then I have to go back here, and the Caillou house is here. But there's no gravesite anywhere. Went here. No gravesite. There's a grave here. But it doesn't has anything to do with Caillou. So I need to find a Caillou gravesite. But the game doesn't show you any Caillou gravesite. So I'm looking all over the place for some freaking grave in a big ass game where graves are everywhere. If I was judging this game, I would get deducted at least 2 points for the stupidity of trying to find a grave that could be literally anywhere. But logically, your mind will tell you the first place to look is in the house and around the house. But you can't do that. I'm saying it all wrong. Creo or Rio. It's not Caillou, it's Kiru. Like Ryu name from Street Fighter is Ryu or Ryu if you're speaking Japanese. Kiryu house. Oh, this seems like a boss in here. Headphones are dying? Okay, I guess the headphones are dying. wait a minute. My clothes are finished washing. Let me just take out my laundry.
Why you?
I wonder what's the point of these places. Are they just for getting resources? Because this is a save room to save inside here. A slave point. But there's nothing else to do in here except pick up resources. So it's not like it's a checkpoint or a secret location. It's nothing. Just 2 dolls. That's about it. I don't know. Maybe the whole point of the dolls is yeah, you can only do them once. Point of the dolls to get extra resources. It's definitely not for your camera obscura. Doesn't seem to be anything else in here. shrine here. So I'm gonna have to go back to this Kairu house and see if I could get to the door from here. The entrance. Which will probably be blocked off. But I have to find some grave. And it's none of the graves here. It's not like I remember everything from when I first played this game. It's like that was like 15 years ago or something. And that's the typical response. You can't. You could go into the cargo house from here, but all the doors are locked on the inside. And the main entrance, you need a key to get in there. And I'm assuming that the key is located by the grave. This is the Osaka house, so it wouldn't be in that house. This is the Kiryu house. This is a path going there. Unless I missed something and there's a actual grave inside of the house, which doesn't really make sense. I'm pretty sure in Japanese culture they don't have graves inside their houses either. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. This is the inside of the house. This is the second floor. There are no grave sites around the house or in the house. The nearest grave site was located here, the shrine, and there was no keys or anything there, just resources. Same applies here. There were no grave sites here by the temple. I went to here, across the bridge, even went here to check out if there was a grave around here, next to here, and there was nothing there. I don't know. I mean, I could go all the way back to the beginning of the game, which should be here, the hills, but that's more like a shrine than a gravesite. I don't know. It's weird because the game doesn't say, okay, this is the village of Minakami, and this one says River Shore, and this one here says Minakami Village, Kayano, and this one says the same thing, and they all say different things: house front, path, but not a single one of them says a gravesite or cemetery or burial site. You know, and the only logical thing that makes sense is here, or to go all the way across the bridge to Kurosawa House and then proceed through the house to this spot right here. I don't know, man. I'm just gonna try just to save time because I could see this is going to take a while to look for this damn thing. I'm gonna save myself a headache and time, and I'll go online and see where can I find this gravesite. Because running around like a chicken with his head cut off is bad. Wasting hours. I don't mind searching and using critical thinking, but when it comes to something that's randomly placed in random places, that you're saying to yourself, well, maybe I didn't use deductive reasoning good. Well, the house is called Kiryu, so the gravesite would be called Kiryu. Typically graves are in the cemeteries, but there's no cemetery. Typically graves are on the ground or underground, but the nearest place underground is those different underground plots that I went to, but there's no graves there. And there are various graves placed all over the damn game, so it could be any one of them. So there's no identifying tag, and also it's nighttime, so if the grave is within visual accurate depth perception of me, well, unless I have the flashlight and it's pointing directly on it, I won't be able to see it if I'm walking by it. And unless it's a big ass grave, I'll miss it. If it's some small little thing stuck in a corner, I'm not gonna get that either. So, not wasting my time trying to figure out.
Why you?
To finding the grave and fail a frame when the most obvious thing is to place the grave at the most logical place, a cemetery. But I'm looking on the damn map and I'm looking for a cemetery. I think I came across a cemetery somewhere, but that was like way at the beginning of the game. So I have to look on the map. I'm gonna go all the way back to the beginning. Village. Unless I'm completely breezing by it and I'm not paying attention. And there is a cemetery somewhere I'm just not seeing, or passed by it. Typically it would say cemetery or burial site. Kurokawa House. Entire Kurokawa House. Alright, so I'm gonna go up to the Kurokawa House because Temple Edo, this, everything has been tagged and nothing says a cemetery. So I'm gonna head up to the Kurokawa House. The only thing that makes sense is maybe the cemetery is there. Maybe. Maybe there's a cemetery there. Maybe there's a burial site there. What I won't do is go beyond the point of this game. See, there's another grave site here. Or a grave here. But those things aren't really considered graves in Japan. More like memorial stones. Like grave sites are typically located in cemetery slots. Alright, so we're now in Kurokawa territory. So in Kurokawa house grounds, Kurokawa altar room, house cell, dirt path, bloodstained room, Kurokawa courtyard, case, corner corridor, Kurokawa latex room, Kurokawa house hall of ropes. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, man. So there's no cemetery located in Kurokawa place. As my hand is going too fast. I see no cemetery here. Or burial site. Okay, so Kurokawa is probably a bus. Which leaves, since Kurokawa is a bus, which leaves strange how I don't see any cemeteries here. Maybe I haven't gotten to the cemetery yet, but why would I not get to the cemetery yet? Do I really have to go back to the beginning of the game? Seems like it. You know what? I'm just gonna go online and look to see if I passed a cemetery or a burial site or something. How to find the grave, fatal frame 2. Find. Okay, to find the Tachihara grave or Tuchihara grave, explore Minakami Cemetery. Minakami Cemetery. There's a Minakami Cemetery which has access via the path past Misano Hill. There's no Minakami Cemetery. There's nothing. It doesn't say anything here. There's the Minakami Kayano is Okunohara. The river shore, the settlement, front house, Minakami village, storage, back. Okay, it says it's past Hisano Hill. So this is the Hisano Hill East, and this is the Hisano Hill West. So this is for our first introduced into the game. I came up from west. I came to here. Unless this game is telling me that this damn shrine is a cemetery. For which I would say that how the fuck does a shrine look like a cemetery? Or how is a cemetery designed to look like a shrine? Because that's not how a cemetery looks. Even Japanese cemetery don't look like some damn freaking cult worshipping place. So maybe this game is just designed to be that way. Alright, so I'll go back to the beginning and I'll see, you know, Osaka path. Yeah, might have to go back to the beginning again. I don't have a choice. Alright. It's just kind of dumb. It's like, it's really, really dumb. The game makes you go all the fuck way back to the beginning just to find a grave site. Like, they couldn't have just put the grave somewhere near to the nearest grave site. It has to be all the way back at the beginning. Now I'm just spitballing here, but I'll say that's not the brightest thing to do. Maybe back in the days they weren't as bright as people make them out to be. I'm only saying that from the point of view of how I see the game, not whether they're intelligent enough to get a job, or to do the job, or to execute an idea and have it be fruitful. Because logic has nothing to do with whether you could do a thing or not. If an idiot could do a job, doesn't mean that that idiot is logical. It just means that the idiot is book smart, or at least conceptually smart. But logically smart, he may pick the wrong decision all the time simply because it's not credible towards achieving a certain ends. in the best way. But that certain ends done in the best way is sometimes a quick path that leads to danger, or a long ass path that leads to taking and wasting a lot of time. So both are good, are bad. So I don't know. Logic governs most things because it's between common sense and intelligence. I would say logic, because intelligence shoots through the roof, but then you make dumb mistakes. It's because you're not doing things logically. And someone say, well, fuck logic. Well, that's how you take long to do something, or that's how you get into danger, because you're shooting for a quick path without wasting time. But the path for the quick path is dangerous, or you're taking a long ass time because you don't want to take the dangerous path, what seems logical. But the path you're taking is the long ass way around, which would take you days or hours to do, which is also not logical, because it would take a lot out of your time, take a lot out of your resources, take a lot out of your energy. So both are bad. One, you're safe, and the other, you're just wasting resources and time, which some people say, I don't mind wasting resources and time. Not when you have to achieve something, you know. Take the long way around running competition. You'll be the last guy to get to the end of the race, simply because you want to stay safe. Yeah, I knew that this was a no grave site. It's like, it's obviously a shrine or memorial. Like, so I'm looking for some damn Minakami cemetery in this place, but there is no cemetery. It doesn't say anything. So the only thing that makes sense is that perhaps the cemetery is hidden and I have to uncover it. So maybe it's at these locations somewhere far over here. And I have to use the camera obscura in order to unlock the cemetery. It's the only thing that makes sense. Because if I go online and it says online to find the Tushihara grave in Fatal Frame 2, Crimson Butterfly, explore the Minakami Cemetery, which is accessed via the path past Misano Hill. Okay, there's only past Misano Hill. So this is Misano Hill, Misano Hill, Misano Hill, and this is a dead end. So I wonder if it's telling me to investigate the dead end. So let me investigate the dead end. If there's nothing at the dead end, since I got the camera obscura now, maybe I can unlock the dead end or something at the dead end. But if not, then it's probably to the left. But I'm not going to waste any more time on this. I already spent more than 2 hours trying to find, or more than an hour and a half trying to find a gravesite. And the other 20 to 30 minutes, or more like an hour and 15 trying to find a gravesite. And the remaining other times, like about 30 minutes, fighting different enemies. I have no continuation of this general story as of yet. Sole purpose is just to find this grave. And of course, okay, he's heading to the cemetery. Okay, so I might be right. I might be right. See, but that's another thing about these old games. Like, exploration is one thing, but if you are to put your cemetery in an obscure place, and it says find a way into the house, find the grave. Typically, you know your grave is in the cemetery, but the cemetery could be anywhere. So you would have to find a cemetery. Logically, if you've never come across a cemetery, you don't know where to go. Now, a shrine here is not the same as a cemetery, so even if you check that, you would say, oh, I checked it, there's no reason there, so it's not a cemetery. And I checked various other graves around the place, but there's no cemetery. So the only thing that's left is for you to use your camera obscura to reveal wherever the cemetery is, but the cemetery could be anywhere. So the only way for you to actually know where the cemetery might be is if someone played the game already and tell you exactly the cemetery is at this location. But when you go to that location, you would never know the cemetery is all the fucked way back at the beginning of the goddamn game. Because there's no hint, no indication that a cemetery could be there. There's a hint and indication that your camera obscura can unlock secret places, but you will never think that it will be at the very beginning of the game for it to unlock, where in the game there are so many places to unlock that could lead to secret places, and there's so many gravesite areas that it could possibly be. So no, if I was judging this game, I would give it like 2 negative points off for that. It's completely dumb. Like, and let's say I'm completely wrong. That's the whole point of exploring. Then why put it all the way fuck it back at the beginning, making your character run all the way back at the beginning? Why not put it somewhere within the vicinity of the family home? Like, if the key is located at a gravesite for the family, shouldn't the gravesite be near the house or somewhere near at a mountaintop that's associated with the family. So logically, it would make sense that it will be far from them. But at the same time, it won't in logic game wise, because in games you don't put something so far away that the character has to run all the way back to there, do the thing, and then run all the way back to the beginning. It's backtracking. It's stupid. It's a very foolish backtracking. And if you did not have, like, say, let's say you didn't have an internet, how the hell would you know? I mean, not internet, a guide. How long would it have taken you to figure out, well, I got to go all the way back to the beginning of the game because that's the only place it could be? No one would ever think that the beginning of the game is where the hidden cemetery will be, because there are so many other places that could be where the cemetery is inside of the village, not all the fuck way outside of the village, because the cemetery is outside of the village. It's real dumb. I mean, I really want someone to like think on their feet about this. A cemetery could be close or a cemetery could be far. But inside of a video game, if you put, like, say, a cemetery all the way back at the very beginning of the game in an obscure place, whereas a cemetery could literally be here, a cemetery could be here, somewhere within the village itself to have the cemetery, that would make more sense than a place outside of the village. Now, obviously someone said, well, the cemetery is inside of the village because there's a map connecting to the Misano Hill, which then leads to the village and everything. But it's not really in the village. It's a location outside of the village on a hill. So if you're thinking about finding the cemetery in the village, it's not going to work. And if you're thinking about, okay, let's think outside the box, perhaps it's not inside of the village, you would still say, okay, so let's check places outside of the village. Like, so you would go here and check here, places outside the village, or all the way, well, not here. Yeah, okay, so there's only like one place to really outside of the village, and it will be back at the beginning of the game. So yeah, it won't take you that long to figure out that it's outside the village, but it's from an in-game point of view, it's like if it's you're really trying to save time, that's my whole point of me going back and forth with this. If you're trying to save time, logically putting something outside of the village in an obscure place is not going to make the game better. And even if you like that type of stuff, backtracking is never good in any video game unless there's a point to the backtracking that's actually good. Here, it's just backtracking to find something in order to progress the story. But I've done backtracking many times in many games to progress their story. But it's never good because you don't have to put the thing that you want people to find all the fuck way back somewhere. They gotta go all the way back. You could put it within the vicinity of the place, just in a clever area, not have them run for miles back and then run for miles forward and then run for miles again back in another place. that doesn't seem smart and clever, or puzzle related wise, or Rubik's Cube wise, or crossword puzzle wise, or even freaking tic tac toe, which you can't win at wise. It just feels lazy. Like, let's place it, put it at this far place, so you have to go all the way there, and let's hide it. Only thing that's good is the hidden part, because you gotta use camps obscura. But running all the way back, that's the dumb part. I see that failed in many games, and this is no different. See, this is how a traditional Japanese cemetery is. Like I said, those little tombstones, those aren't really cemeteries. Like, cemeteries would be, Japanese cemetery would be like this, where you have statues of individuals and various other tombstones, but they're all stacked on top of each other or close to each other. And why they were stacked close to each other, or not on top of each other? Because the Japanese culture, that's why. They don't believe in spacing things out. Like, if you could put your dead grandmother, your dead grandfather in a grave right next to each other, there's no need to keep them far apart. You're trying to save space. So put certain families together, keep them all together in one area, rather than spread them all out. They're more efficient when it comes to graves than Americans. I think I'll stop it here. Once I find the key, if there's not a cutscene, I'll stop it here. I believe when I went to Japan, I saw maybe a gravesite once, and only once, and this is exactly how it looks. They're stacked very close to each other. If I could be wrong, but if memory serves me correctly, like, if there's not enough space within a gravesite location, the caretaker of that location would sometimes make the bodies stand up vertically and bury them vertically in order to save space on the ground. So certain family members are closer together in vertical graves, but if I'm wrong about that, then it's horizontal, and they're stacked right next to each other. The cubes are right next to each other in said graves, so they're very close, which makes perfect sense. There's no need to have wide spaces whatsoever at all. I mean, they're dead, for Christ's sakes. They don't need no breathing room. Another thing about this game, if I was giving it points and deducting points and I was ranking it, the whole flashing camera thing is really an annoyance. It pulsates and it could cause throbbing pain to the eyes if you have weak eyes. When the bright light goes off, that's not very smart. But every video game developer of every video game that's ever made always have smart people and always have dumb people. And the dumb one is probably going to say, let's your camera do a flash to guarantee that it's a flash. Well, the flash looks cool and everything, but it comes with a blinding light. So why make the blinding light white? Why not change the color so it doesn't blind your audience? But you know, you really can't tell people who are given position of power to make decisions, especially when you're on the timeline and on a budget and you need to relegate your resources and your time to various different parties. So you can't be micromanaging them all the time. You just hope that they're doing the right thing. And let's say if you're in a party of 3 to create a video game, 3 different divisions. Out of those 3 different divisions, 2 of those divisions would do it right and the third one will probably be a fuck up. So the thing about Fatal Frame, it is quite dated. Its jump scares are okay, but its fear factor isn't as great as the type of horror that's released nowadays. So I would say in the past 10 years, horror has improved with regards to jump scares and with regards to actually horror, like good horror. I mean, if you think Hereditary was average at best, then good horror probably came after Hereditary or before Hereditary. So maybe I'm a bit off. I would say not the last 10 years, maybe the last 15 years. I mean, Ju-On was pretty awesome in the 90s, but that was the 90s and early 2000s. It's when you started to have remakes come into play, and that started to ruin everything with their ridiculous jump scares. I mean, I would credit Barbarian for one thing. It's paranoia, close quarters, and its environment design is pretty damn good. Find the grave. So after I find this grave, I'll save and then call it a day. But I need to know exactly what grave I'm supposed to find. I'm at the cemetery now. house key. So wait a minute. This is Minakawa Village, Minakami Cemetery. So Minakami Cemetery. So this is the Minakami Village, and in this Minakami Village, there are 4 to 5 different clans, and they all bury their dead here at the Minakami Cemetery. So about 4 to 5 different clans, family are being buried here. All right. Map has been updated. Towards the Cairo house. Alright. So I'm gonna... Now all I gotta do is save and get the hell out of here. Obviously. Alright, so I'll save here. You know what's weird is that when people say you're talking a lot when you're playing horror games, mean you're scared. It really depends on the person. It really does. Because when I'm scared when I play horror games, I would say I'm quiet. Or no, not really. Because I've been quiet this entire game mostly. I say when I'm scared, I'm playing horror. Talking is to kill time. And when I'm scared, it's also to kill time. Because when I'm silent, it doesn't really apply. That's weird. He just decided to disappear. No, he's still there. You know, like when I'm silent, it's because I'm concentrating, not because I'm scared. And when I'm talking, it's also not because I'm scared. It's because I'm just trying to kill time. I'm not sure if I was ever scared by keeping quiet or by talking. I'm not sure. Even when I was playing Resident Evil 7, it was the same thing. I only talked because I wanted to kill time, and I was bored. And then when the game started to get good, and I wasn't bored, and I thought it was fun, I was still talking. And then when I was silent, it was mostly because I was concentrating, because I was in a location too long, and I need to get with the program and push it on. So I don't know. I don't think I've ever been scared for the reasons of keeping quiet because I'm scared or talking because I'm scared. I don't think it's ever happened to me before. Even when I go to watch movies, like the scariest thing I've ever saw in a movie was probably due to a jump scare, and jump scares aren't really scary, it's just to dare to make you jump. I think the scariest thing I've ever saw in a movie is I don't know. I don't know. The Descent? No. Barbarian? Not really. It's weird how that motherfucker came out the cave. If anything, it's bizarre. What's scared? No. Because you're expecting a monster to come out, so when the monster comes out, then the scare is gone because you were expecting it. And then they did it. They did the thing that you were expecting, so it really wasn't terrifying because you were expecting it. I don't know, man. It's the unexpected ones are the actually horror stuff, or the ones that are, I would say, are disturbing, are horrific. Not because they're horror, it's because it makes your mind feel that it's very disturbing. But disturbing leads to darkness, which is not really horror, it's more bleakness. dark. Dark horror. That's what that is. Not fair horror. Dark horror. Like Phantasm would be considered dark horror. Because it's not really scary. It's kind of funny in a way. Hellraiser will be considered dark horror. Because it's not really about the scary nature of the thing. It's more about how it makes you feel when you're watching it. Like when you're watching a guy with pins for heads, how does it make you feel? When a guy's face is staring at you, expressionless and emotionless, out of a dark place, and it's not moving, like it's a floating head or something. It feels bleak and dark, but not scary. You're expecting the thing behind the face to then scare you, but then there's no thing behind the face, so it's relegated to just being bleak and dark. Whereas in Smile, the thing does reveal its face and true form behind the smile of people. But it's fucking stupid, because you're expecting something that's a better creature design than a four-legged creature with eyes inside its fucking mouth. Or fingers inside its mouth. I don't know what the Smile creature is. The scariest part about Smile is a gigantic walking woman smiling and walking towards you, because he's gigantic. But after a while, even that becomes hilarious, because your mind start playing with the idea of she's wearing a motherfucking diaper, or it's a giant woman in her underwear walking towards you. So the moment the people who made the horror movie decide to put the character in a ridiculous looking thing, the ridiculous looking thing automatically ignites in your head, and you've now bred life into the ridiculous looking thing. So no, the ridiculous looking thing is saving you from the terror of what you're seeing, instead of you staying in it. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about people who make horror, but like, first thing I thought when I watched that gigantic woman smile is, oh, you can't. That's the first thing I thought of. It was scary when I saw it the first time, but after she made the 2 second steps moving forward, and I saw it in the underwear and stuff, I couldn't stop thinking about, oh, you can. Like, I wanted to actually fight the creature rather than run from it. Now, what would happen in the process is my mind would say, no, 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 that's a bad thing. You don't want it to get a hold of you because you don't know how strong it is. It's a creature. That's horror. What it would do when it grabs you. Not it walking to you, but the thing that it will do once it gets a hold of you. It's not the same. Tiger could walk a tiger could walk towards you. That's very scary because you know what it's about to do next. It's going to grab you, and it's going to rip you apart, and it's going to eat you. So the fear is not in the tiger is strong and it's coming towards you. The fear is in what it's going to do because you're familiar with it. That's all. But if you're not familiar with the thing, it's not really scary because you don't know what it's going to do. Only thing you're assuming it'll do is that it probably has strength from hell, and so on and so forth. But your mind is also saying it could be weak as well because you're not familiar with its existence. The whole concept of no contact with man equals, or no contact with a certain species equals an unknown. No interaction, so there's nothing to fear from a thing you don't know about until it pricks you on the hand and you get poisoned, you get sick. So now there's something to fear. So when I was watching Smile, I was like, oh, you can. And then after thinking about Ryu, I then brought back into reality once okay, well, what if I do uppercut her? She'll fall backwards. But what if the uppercut doesn't work? Then I'm in a dangerous situation. So Smile is both a good horror movie and it's a bad horror movie. Because it forced me to actually start thinking about fighting the damn thing rather than running from it. I think the most horrific thing about Smile has nothing to do with the creature smiling. It's mind games. That's about it. That's the most horrific thing about Smile. Not the creature, not how it originally looks, not the stupid fucking people smiling all the time. But it's mind games. What it actually true power is. That's all. Without its true power, which is to make you think that you're not trapped in its own little world, and the Smile creature is fucking dumb. Because if someone was to figure out what the Smile creature is doing and know that it's actually is doing it, like it actually traps you in its own Freddy Krueger world. If you get the idea of knowing you're in a dream or in the Smile hypnosis or whatever it is that has trapped you in, if you learn how to get out of it, then the Smile creature is fucked. Because the only thing it has left is its own physical strength. But if a damn demon from hell could get blown up with a freaking rocket launcher or a grenade, then the Smile creature, as long as it's a physical thing that you could touch, that bleeds, that gets hurt from physical force, because it's definitely not Freddy. It's not a ghost. It's not in the afterworld. Or maybe it is. Maybe a Smile creature is a demon and it is a ghost. So, as long as you know how to defeat demons, and it's a demon, as long as you know how to beat a demon, then the Smile creature is done for. Period. Same as Freddy. As long as you know how to beat Freddy by pulling him out of his dream world, then he's fucked. Same as Jason. As long as you bring his ass to water, he panics, he is fucked. Same as Michael Myers. All monsters and all demons in the history of cinema has at least one weakness. If a demon does not have any weaknesses at all, then it's a fucking dumb demon. And it's stupid. And it's not going to be remembered at all, because you've put that thing into it cannot be beaten. It's immortal and it doesn't have any weakness. What's the point of fighting something that cannot be beaten? It's like trying to fight God or the devil. So the most memorable monsters and creatures and crazy dark stuff are the ones that have at least one weakness. If an enemy doesn't have any weaknesses at all, then why doesn't that enemy or that demon, I think, go fight fucking God and Michael and the rest of them? But your first response would be, oh well, that's because God and Michael and all of them would kill that one thing. Oh, so you mean a human being can't do anything, it's immortal and cannot die because it's a human, while something in heaven can fucking kill it? Then there it is. It has a weakness. You just go to the right people, which is the heavenly host. Like, come on, man. All creatures have a weakness. Alright? Demons can be killed by angels. Period. It doesn't matter what culture or race or anything you come from. So if you want to know how to kill a demon, you go to the people who know how to kill demons. The heavenly host. If the demon's still alive, even though you go to the heavenly host to kill the demon, it's because Big Daddy Devil is helping that sucker to stay alive. Now, if Big Daddy Devil is not helping that sucker to stay alive, and it's its own power to resist Michael and Raphael and all the other archangels, then that thing is stronger than archangels. And if God decides to step in and try to kill that thing and it's still alive, then that thing is stronger than God, which means it's fucking dumb. Because then it's not really a demon, because that will make it stronger than fucking Lucifer. And then you say, well, it can't be stronger than Lucifer, because Lucifer is strong and it serves Lucifer. It's like, but if it serves Lucifer, how the fuck can it be stronger than freaking Michael and them? Because archangels are stronger than demons, period. Because Lucifer is an archangel, a fallen archangel. So the logic is skewed. What you think, they go to hell and all of a sudden they take hell steroids, so all of a sudden archangels from hell are stronger than archangels from heaven? It doesn't work that way. Once Lucifer fell, he lost a lot of his powers, but he gained a lot of power through the dead, or through demons, or other amalgamations of creatures. But no matter how many he collect, or souls, or any of that stuff, so in history, those powers are still minuscule towards the powers of the heavenly hosts, because freaking archangel could probably light up an entire galaxy by himself. Like, what the fuck, man? What are we talking about here? What is Freddy gonna do against the freaking archangel Michael? He'll get KO'd in the first flick of Michael's freaking finger. KO'd. What is the small creature gonna do against Michael? Boom, KO'd. Devil say, no, I'm bringing back to life. Shut the fuck up, devil. I'm Michael. KO'd. I'm willing to kill this one guy, annoying guy that keeps smiling. You have many other minions, many other demons to come that you're cooking up. What if I just kill this one hereditary demon? Or monster? Or whatever. What if I just kill the Juon monster? Was it really stop your little quest for trying to dominate the universe? No. Because devil don't give a fuck about pussy ass random low level demons like freaking Freddy Krueger and Smile and all that. Get the fuck out of here, man. We're talking about the thing that's the biggest asshole in the freaking universe. Like, the universe, my man. Like, a freaking galaxy goes on for freaking probably so many light years before you get from one end of that galaxy to the other end of that galaxy. Both length, depth, and width. Like, how many light years do you think it would take for you to get from one end of a galaxy to another end of the galaxy? Like, the fuck out of here, man. I'm not even talking about the multiple of solar systems that are within that galaxy. And then there are multiple galaxies. How many more light years do you think it would take to get from one galaxy to the next galaxy? If we're talking about light and time. Like, come on, man. Like, if an archangel could freaking one-shot a freaking planet, or create life on a planet, or become the governor of an entire galaxy. One archangel is in charge of one galaxy. Like, you think of one pissy ass fucking pussy demon or monster like Jason or whatever could do anything? Like, these guys probably do one finger curl of a fucking planet. Like, think about that. But like, every monster you ever seen in film are on the ground, running on the ground trying to kill you and stuff. Go in and out of hell. They get knocked to the ground, sometimes they fall over. No matter what monster you've seen, you're able to slow them down, you're able to stop them. They fall down, they run, they fall through the floor, boulders drop on them, no matter what. Like, if a freaking archangel could freaking bench press an entire planet. Like say a planet is like a dumbbell. He's curling a fucking dumbbell. A planet. Because an archangel is probably power is probably greater than a freaking solar system, so he's curling a planet. You think a freaking small ass freaking demon from some clown, killer clowns from outer space, from some critters or whatever the fuck, will be able to, no matter how many of them spawn, 1,000 of them, 1,000,000 of them, and he'll just wave his hand. He'll just wave his hand in one wave, or like a tsunami. Just swing his hand to the left. An entire tsunami will destroy the entire surface of the planet, and everything that's in front of it gets knocked away and float out into space. So if the fucking demon or monster or whatever can't breathe in space, they're dead. And if they happen to be able to survive in space, which doesn't have any fucking air, then that means what's the point of that monster being on a planet with fucking air? If it could literally go anywhere, why waste time on Earth when it could peace out and go to someplace that's far better, and where a bunch of little organisms require air to survive? But like, if a monster is that OP, he won't be fucking with human beings. You know what? I'm getting too much into this. But like, I always laugh at these freaking horror movies and their horror monsters. But like, look, you want to see how OP you are? Go fight a fucking angel. Alright? I don't care what the supernatural television show or anything else depict angels to be. Angels, the biblical sense, are far more OP than anything that you will ever see in any film, period. Alright? If they can keep demons from getting into heaven, and their and their quota has always been 99.9% with maybe one flop, or maybe no flop at all, because they're perfect beings. Emphasis on the word perfect. They don't make flaws. They're 100%ers all day, every day. Like, no. Like, even if you are to make the entire planet a sea of nothing but demons, I believe they would just get wiped out within one nuke blast from an angel, from an archangel. But like, I think movies do demons and angels and seraphs and thrones and governors and freaking, I mean, not governors, judges, and all different forms of creatures in horror a huge disservice. They bust them down to water them down to a very low level, just because they know they're freaking OP. They know the original scripts from original horrors going all the way back to 1930s and before them, of things that are considered horror related, ancient gods, mythical landscapes. Like, they're too OP. The moment the theologian logic came into place and esoteric heavenly host landed, all other gods and whoever were minuscule. But like, these guys were basically freaking the Dio of the universe. But like man, they crunch fucking plans, man. That's all I could say. But like, you're not going to defeat them. Like, why do you think like we as human beings are still here? Like, if you really believe that religious stuff, if you truly believe it, and you're saying to yourself, we're still here, why aren't we all dead as human beings if the apocalypse really exists, if Revelations really exists? Because that motherfucker Lucifer is losing, and he'll never win until such time comes that he believes he's about to win. That's all there is to it. Through millions of years of the first human being that exists, way back into prehistoric age, before Homo sapiens, or should I say, even before Homo sapiens sapiens. Back to Neanderthals, back to Prosimians. Come on, man. Come on. If a thing existed way before this planet was even formed, and was intelligent way before this planet was even formed, and could create planets on its own, and govern planets on its own, and make sure the livestock, including what was to be human beings, flourish, and what was to be dangerous and demonic did not flourish. Like, time isn't passing and these guys are getting old with age. Like, they're freaking immortal. Like, I love horror movies, man, but like, what world am I in sometimes when I wake up? Like, how they bust down angelic figures and how they dehumanize angelic figures or demonic figures. How they make them so weak and pathetic. Freddy, I get. He's a man that became a demon. He didn't fall from heaven with all the other traitorous angels. And he wasn't created by Lucifer in hell to be demonic, using Lucifer's powers. Right? He was a human creation. And he's not like fucking Hellraiser 2. That motherfucker, he wasn't born. I'm not sure if Pinhead was born in hell or created from hell. But I know the other freaking trilobites were once human or born from the hatred of human, something like that. So those fuckers aren't even true freaking demons. And you can't even get into that guts berserk stuff because those assholes aren't even true demons either. They were once humans too, turned into demons. Same as Griffiths. Like, that's why I don't fuck with all that stuff. No matter how much people say about demons and stuff, but like, the true nature of demons is far beyond the concept of what any human being could possibly think of in film. Just like the true form of an angel and its powers far beyond the concept of what a human being could possibly think of and its powers. Like, if you could lift up a piece of paper on your table and then put it on a shelf with ease, I guarantee you, if they wanted to, they could lift up that planet Earth and put it on a shelf somewhere without straining themselves either. Because they're just archangels. They're not God who created the freaking universe or the galaxies. They're more lower in power, but their power is still a lot to deal with. Just the solar system. You know what? What am I talking about? I don't need to justify things that are beyond the comprehension of human beings. Fuck it. I'm out. Like, I'll stay in my lane. At least I understand that shit. That's why I think that's one of the reasons why it's hard for me to be scared by anything. And every now and again I get scared by a jump scare, or every now and again something truly does bother me. But those things come from nightmares. And it's because I have no control over what's happening in the dream. But if I was to take what's happening in the dream, like a Stephen King faggot that he is, and then use it to scare people outside and make films off of his own fare, because he can't think of his own stuff on his own, he has to use what's in his head. It becomes weak because it's now not the same as the thing that you had the nightmares of in your head. It doesn't have that power because you're awake when you're watching his films. So the effect of how you feel in the nightmare doesn't work unless you're unconscious. So I don't know. It's like only a few people understand horror. I would say I am halfway there to truly understand horror. But I guarantee you this one thing though. I guarantee you this. I know horror a whole lot better than some of those motherfuckers that are making horror movies now. Like, education, what school you go for, what you study, what you do, and how much points a person get you and applaud you for doing a thing. has nothing to do with what's in your head and what you see and what you present creatively. If a 10-year-old kid could beat you at something creatively in your head and you're a grown-ass adult, that means your creativity has died out as you've gotten older, which means you're not as creative as you think. None of those degrees and all that shit would save you. The fuck out of here. Alright, so I'm done with this. I love this game. It's not real scary. But that's not the point. It's fair and horror was of its time. You play fail for the environment, for the characters, for the story, and it's nostalgia. You don't play for the fair. That ship sailed a long time ago. But I would say it is. It's present and it's there, and I feel it. It's just not as potent as some of the stuff now. So that's it. I'm gonna jump onto Warframe. Supposed to be only 2 hours of me playing. I end up start talking for about 3 hours, but it's very in some ways it's very important to say these things because people will go about their lives thinking they understand certain things about horror. Like, you first have to understand the concept of where that came from. Then you have to understand who represents that thing. Then you have to understand who are the opponents of that thing. And then you have to see the levels of those on both opposing forces. Whereas you need some hope against something that can kick your ass. And you need to go to something that's able to have equal force in order to do so. But the thing you go to have equal force sometimes could be even more terrifying than anything that you're trying to run from, because they're so powerful. That's why back in the days they kind of outlawed the use of spiritual calling, and this was during Puritan times, or slightly after Puritan times. No, it was before Puritan times. No, it was after Puritan times. Yeah, Salem witch stuff. Yeah. Some of it was before as well, if memory serves correctly. Because it became, once Christianity came into play, it became kind of a bad juju thing, kind of illegal in certain countries, to try to actually summon a freaking angel, because it goes terribly wrong. Because angels, as I read, expect sacrifice in return, not to the point of what you were thinking, because then that would make them evil, but their price was typically energy based. But now that I think about it, angels were kind of monsters as well. They were just a different type of monsters. Nice monsters, if you considered offering something that's very important to you nice. They weren't evil, but they weren't your friends either, because angels don't really like human beings. If you're going to according to religion, they serve to protect and help human beings. But I guarantee if you were to actually speak to a real angel, they would probably wish that they were somewhere else instead of talking to you. I don't know. But weirdly enough, they would probably say no at the same time. Say, to communicate and help a human being would be honorable. But somehow you know it's not completely true. Because if Lucifer and all the fallen angels were to defy God, like, I'm pretty sure ones that don't defy God, who don't believe in his bullshit, quite understands why he did it. And so that presence of that thing is still there. They just don't see things the same way he does. or maybe they're, I would say, the ones that serve God, they get it. They get it. Human beings were a creation, a unique type of creation that was never created before. It was weird and it was strange, but it was just another experiment, at least from the point of view of an angel. Like, if I'm to look deeper into it, it's just another creation to them. At least if we're talking from the point of view of something that's very mechanical and cold and calculating, but yet loyal and serve joy and happiness and balance and stability. Yeah, we would simply be just another thing to them. The specific selected thing above other things. But if God was to create something better than human beings one day, and that certain thing is out there, which we haven't seen, it's more likely that we will never see that thing, because He would never want us to think that we're the lesser of the thing that's actually the greater. That's like saying one of your kid is better than the other kid. You'll just make the other kid angry, and then it'll be no one's fault but your own. So the love for what your children are equally spread, because you would then be evil. You wouldn't be good if you're doing favoritism. But then again, God ain't human, so that bullshit don't apply to Him. That's a human fault thing, not a God thing. It was only made in human beings' image. That's it. All other logic tied to human has nothing to do with God and angels. You're on the planet, you're of flesh, you can think, you can make your own choices, you have freedom, you follow certain cues, certain quotas, you can reproduce, you can get hurt, you need to go to sleep, you need to eat, you can wake up, you transition over time, you have feelings, you have emotions that change, you like to explore, you like to put yourself in danger sometimes, you like to run away from danger sometimes. You're all over the goddamn place because you're a human. Or should I say, you're called human because you're all over the place. That's what He basically created. That's us. That's not whatever they are up there or far away or wherever they are. Like, if you're talking about from the point of view, if you believe in those things. But so that's it for this. I'm not going to get into the whole religious stuff. I was starting to get into it, because the moment you start to think about demons, you start go to that place. But yeah, fuck those movies, man. Like, they really need to do better horror. And if they can't do horror, then the best horrors was from the 90s and the freaking early 2000s, and some from the 80s as well. Michael Myers of the 70s was probably as best that the 70s was ever going to get. And 80s slasher was just slasher. It wasn't really horror. So the best horrors was probably from the 90s and early 2000s. And if that's the best you'll ever get, then hey, at least I was alive to see at least one of those decades exist before I pass away and say to my children in the future, at least I was able to experience a good horror or true horror films before everything went to shit and everything became just copy and paste. Alright, that's it for this. I gotta go.